Hello, welcome to Kids Church. I want you to imagine today that I have got a little friend with me. Now have a look. Can you see? Oh, here he is. This is my friend. He's called Jim Bob. And Jim Bob is a fish. And Jim Bob is really sad. Oh, Jim Bob. He's not feeling very well today. He's feeling really poorly. And in order to help him, I need to get him into a net out of his fish tank. And I need to put him into a bowl of water so that I can take him to the vet, and the vet will make him feel better. Problem is, Jim Bob doesn't want to go in the net, and he doesn't want to go in the bowl of water, and he doesn't want to go to the vet because he doesn't understand that those things are going to help him to feel better. So I need your help. How can I get Jim Bob to go into that net? How can I help him to realise that actually that's the best thing to do? I'm not sure. Maybe I can try telling him. Shall I try telling him? Jim Bob, you need to go into the net because it's going to make you feel better. We're going to get you some help. Still looking sad. I don't think he's going to go. Maybe I could force him, but that wouldn't be very kind, really. I think he'd still probably feel quite sad and he wouldn't like me very much. Oh, what should I do? Well, do you know, in our story today, in God's great big story, we're starting the New Testament. We're starting the second part of the Bible where God made a new promise, a new agreement with his people. We've been learning over the past few weeks about God when he created the world and he made a promise with Abraham and all the stories that happened with Abraham and all of his massive, great big family that God promised he would have. God and his people. But we learned that actually the people made a bit of a mess of it, and they really needed God's help. A bit like Jim Bob here, this fish. He needs my help. The people really needed God's help. And the last time we saw them, they were waiting, weren't they? They were waiting for a really long time because God promised that He would send somebody to help them and save them. Problem is, just like Jim Bob here, doesn't really understand, doesn't really listen to me. He doesn't really know that going into that net is the best thing for him. God's people also weren't very good at listening to him. And so God decided to do something amazing. Have a look at this. I want you to imagine that as my way of helping Jim Bob, what I'm going to do is this. Now I'm a fish too. I'm not very good, I'm not very well drawn fish. Now what I could do is I could go into the fish tank with Jim Bob. I could swim around with him and I could go into the net with him. I could go into the new bowl of water with him and I could go to the vet with him to help him to get better. That's what God did. Now obviously we're not fish. We're human beings, and so God became a human being with us. We often hear this story at Christmas time. We learn about Jesus being born as a baby. But what really happened, the miracle that happened that very first Christmas, was not just that a baby was born, but that God became a human being. He became a human being and he grew up on this earth with us, so that he could save us, so that he could help us to be reunited with God. We learn all the way back at the beginning of God's great big story about how the people, the humans, they broke themselves, they damaged themselves in a way that they couldn't be together and united with God anymore. And when Jesus came to the earth as a human being, he came so that we could be reunited with God, so that we could be friends with God again. And so today we are learning about that amazing story of God becoming human. We often learn about it at Christmas time. And today it's summertime and we're learning about it anyway because it's a fantastic story and it matters all year round. God became a human being to be with us. So let's add in this part of God's great big story to all the things we've remembered so far. If you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, we can start from today. And we can just remember the New Testament, but I reckon some of you will be able to do the whole thing. And then we're going to have a Christmas party. Okay, so Creation, fall, flood, promise, family, Egypt, slavery, freedom, 10 commandments, spying, conquering, judges, welcoming. We want a king. David, God's house, prophets speak. Is this the end? It's not the end. Coming home, waiting. God with us. Remember God with us, because he came as a baby and he grew up. And obviously we often celebrate the story at Christmas time, and it might be the summer right now, but today we are going to have a Christmas party. So what I want you to do with your family is put on some Christmas music. If you've got Christmas stuff accessible, you could get it out. If it's put away in the loft, you might need to save that for Christmas time. We're going to make a Christmas craft to remember that God came to be with us. So what I've got is my jar here, and I'm going to decorate it with things that remind me of Christmas, things that remind me of Jesus coming to be with us. So the first thing I'm going to draw is a baby. The last thing I'm going to do is put a candle inside my jar. Light up all those pictures from the inside out. Let's talk to God. Dear God, thank you so much that you chose to come and not just be with us, but be one of us. Thank you that you became human to be with us. We're so grateful. And we're really excited to learn over the next few weeks about how that plan worked out and how you saved us. But thank you that you have saved us. Thank you that you've invited us to be friends with you, completely united with you. And thank you that part of that plan was that you came to be with us as Jesus. Amen.